So when would be the right time to do that?
Well, people will probably say when they're about to die.
Hands up then if you think you're a good person. Madam, what's your name?
Adele.
Adele, would you be willing to speak with me for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Come on then, come on. Give Adele a round of applause. Is that safe now?
It's safe now.
Platform?
You're not going to ask me any riddles, right?
No, so these questions are not riddles. They are to do with being a good person. So, Adele, thank you for being willing to speak with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a few questions to test this question, whether or not you're a good person. If you pass the test, I'm going to give you this £5, okay? Is that all right?
Yeah.
But if you don't pass the test, we're going to give you prizes anyway. So is that okay? Right. One thing up front though, I did not pass this test. So, Adele, thank you for speaking to me. Would you agree that honesty is the best policy?
Generally, yeah.
Generally, okay. All right, that sounds a bit guarded, all right. Are you willing to be honest with me here, as long as I don't get too personal?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I need to be honest with you, I've got a message that I want to share, so I've got an agenda as well. But I want you to do most of the speaking, okay? Adele, would you say that you're open-minded or willing to listen to other people's point of view?
Yeah.
Excellent. And would you say you're a rational thinker, logical?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And is there anybody here that's with you, or are you on your own?
No.
Okay, right. I'm going to repeat probably back some of the things that you say in your answers so that everyone can hear. But everybody, if you're listening, just apply these to yourselves. So Adele, I'm going to ask you a few questions to do the test. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. First question. In your life, thinking back as far as you can think, how many lies have you told in your whole life? Just put a number on it. A rough number.
10.
10. Okay, but it is a finite number, yeah? It is that number, yeah. Adele said 10, which makes her brilliant, by the way, because my number is massively more than that. So, yeah, thank you for being honest with me, Adele. Now, I need another bit of honesty. What do you call somebody who tells lies?
Liar.
A liar, thank you, yeah. If I came to you and told you a lie, you say, Bob, I barely know you, why are you lying to me, you know? Okay, fair enough. Adele, second question now. Thinking as far back as you can, even to childhood, have you ever taken something that didn't belong to you, and it doesn't matter what the value was, in your whole life? Okay, thank you for your honesty. So, and if we think about it, we've all done it. You know, if we've been to work, if we've paid when we haven't been working, or if we've downloaded something off the internet that we haven't paid the royalties for, broken copyright, we've kind of all done that. So what do you call somebody who takes something that doesn't belong to them?
Thief.
A thief, okay. So far, you told me that you are a
Liar and a thief.
a liar and a thief. But I want to reassure you, if they're being honest with themselves around you listening to you, they're saying, I've kind of done that as well, and I definitely failed that. Okay, another one then, Adele. Have you ever, for example, stubbed your toe on something and as a response said, oh my God, or used Jesus' name like that? Have you ever done that? Definitely. Okay, do you know what that's called?
Blasphemy.
Yeah, it's called blasphemy, and this test, by the way, is all taken from the Ten Commandments, God's standard for goodness. And when he talked about blasphemy, he said it's specifically bad because to take my name in vain is a terrible thing to do. You know, if you cared about somebody, I don't know what your relationship is like, but if you care about someone like your parents or somebody who's very dear to you, you would hate to hear their names being, you know, bandied around as a swear word or something like that. That's fair to say, isn't it? Yeah. Fourth and final question then, Adele. Have you always honoured your parents? Always.
No, because I'll have lied to them.
Yeah, and then we want you to do that, would they? So thank you for being honest with me. So, Adele, that's 4 of the 10 that we looked at. We're not going to look at any more. But you've been honest with me and you told me that you are a liar, a thief, somebody who blasphemes, and you've dishonoured your parents.
Yes.
And I've broken all those as well. So I'm going to take you through a little scenario now. I need you to try and still stay logical and rational with me. So after you die, which I hope is a long, long, long time in the future, let's say that you are in front of God and he's judging you based upon what you've done and these standards that we talked about. So there's God, you're in front of him. On one side is your whole life, everything you've done, even the stuff that people haven't seen, but only you and God know about. And on the other side is his perfect law. Now, based on what you told me and being a rational thinker, will you find you innocent or guilty?
I think you could have sound a bad person based on what I said.
That's interesting that you go straight to bad, but let's just think of it in terms of innocent or guilty, because we're talking about a law. So in a court, human court, we would say innocent or guilty, we wouldn't say good or bad necessarily. Reporters might say that, but we're just talking about a law that's been broken or not broken. So would you be innocent or guilty?
On what law?
On breaking these laws about never lying, never taking.
Oh, I'm guilty.
Yeah. And we all would be if we're being honest with each other.
Yeah.
So if behind you there are 2 doors, so one leads to freedom and one leads to punishment, and it's a perfect court, will a guilty person go through the freedom door or through the punishment door?
They go for the punishment.
Yeah, okay, and in the Bible that's called hell. Adele, if you, I know, so...
I know where I'm going here.
So does that concern you? If what you told me is true, and if we judge by God's standards, the logical conclusion is that you're going to go out the door to punishment, does that concern you?
Not right now, but
Because why? Because you don't think you're going to die today?
Well, I'd like to think not.
Okay. But statistically it's a reasonable assumption, but it's not something we can be certain about, is it?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So I'm going to appeal to your rational thought. If those two doors are the only option, if you take that as the premise, would you rather go through the freedom door or the punishment door?
Well, I'd rather go through the freedom.
Okay, that's great. So this is the bit where I want to share with you a message, because a lot of people, when they get to this point, they say, well, surely God would forgive me. Sure, he's loving and kind and good, isn't he? And that is true. And he does want to forgive everybody for the crimes that they've committed. But he has a problem, because he can't just let you off. If you imagine a human judge who has a convicted murderer from him, he goes, I'm just going to let you off, I feel that way today. If you were the relative of the victim, you go, that's not fair, that's not just, wouldn't you? That's how you feel. So he has this problem. This is the good part that I want to tell you about how he resolves the fact that he has to be just, but he wants to forgive you and me as well. So 2,000 years ago, he himself comes down into creation in the body of a man called Jesus. Have you heard of Jesus? Yeah, okay. And he lived a perfect life. So we talked about 4 commandments that you and I have broken. He lived a perfect life and never broke any of them. At the end of his life, he voluntarily died, and his death wasn't the normal death. In his death, the anger and the punishment that is due to you and me for the things that we've done was put on him. So he took it all, and then he died. Then he was buried, and then he rose to life again, and he ascended into heaven. And he now offers forgiveness to everybody who will accept it. We don't have to do anything to make up for the stuff that we've done wrong, but he gives it freely to those who will accept it. And to accept it, we have to do 2 things. One is, you have to be sorry for the things that we've done. So, I am sorry for... It doesn't mean we're going to stop necessarily doing those things all the time, but we're sorry for the lying, the taking the things, the blaspheming, and all the other moral things that we do wrong. So we're sorry for those. And the second thing is we have to believe that what Jesus did in his life is sufficient. There's nothing that we do in terms to earn it ourselves, but it's just what he did himself. If we do those 2 things, what happens is a legal exchange. So if you put yourself back in that courtroom again, you're there being judged, you're guilty, somebody else comes in and says, I've paid the fine for Adele already. She accepted my forgiveness, and at that point a legal exchange was made. The fine that you couldn't pay for yourself, somebody else has paid, and then God can then dismiss your case. And it's both free, loving and just, okay? So somebody has been punished, so he's not being unjust, and you're being released, and that's loving and kind. So that's how the difficulty of being both just and kind at the same time is resolved. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Do you have a question about it?
So, is that Jesus has taken the punishment for our wrong?
Yeah, so Adele's asking, has Jesus taken the punishment for our wrongdoings? And that's exactly what he did. On the cross, God poured out his anger onto Jesus for the things that all of us have done, because there was nothing that he had done wrong that he deserved judgment for. Does that make sense?
So he took the burden of the people.
He took the burden for us, yeah. So Adele, a logical question for you then. When would be the right time to do those 2 things, which are, can you remember what they were? To accept forgiveness?
Take the burden.
No, it was repentance, which is to be sorry, and to believe that Jesus has done it. So when would be the right time to do that?
Well, people would probably say when they're about to die.
They probably would. But if I was to offer you £1 million and say you've got to come around and collect it, when would you come around and collect it?
You do it straight.
Yeah, of course you do it.
No,
But this is exactly that's rational and logical. Okay, so thank you for being open and honest with me. So Adele, I said that if you pass this test, I'll give you this. You didn't pass the test, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, along with some prizes. And there's a specific reason. So I'm going to give you that. Okay, and hold on to that. And there's a specific reason, because what we've talked about is a free gift that Jesus wants to give you and everybody else if they will repent and trust in what he's done. Some people are proud. I've had somebody who wouldn't accept the £5 off me because they were too proud to accept it. And if we're too proud to accept £5 from a stranger, how are we going to accept eternal life from a God we can't see? Yeah? So I want you to have that, and hopefully, Adele, as you, we don't see much money these days, but when you see a note, well, maybe next time you see a note, you'll see that and you'll think of, really think about what we talked about today, because it's really important.
I'm open to all sorts of thoughts.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, everyone give Adele a round of applause. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have to go, we've got some, we can chat to you if you want, but everyone who's listening to apply this to themselves.